You know, guilty movie pleasure fans, if something ruffles your feathers enough to make you want to escape hell, chances are you aren't going to drive calmly. No, just like Nick Cage, you're going to drive angry!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasure.
Look at us, couple of morons! Look at us, just pretending to drive angry.
Oh, I had a smile on my face.
I was
driving happy.
That was a callback to our epic troll on our Transformers video.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, hell hath no fury like Transformers fans who can't take a joke.
Full disclosure. I have not yet watched Drive Angry because I have spent the last 3 weeks on loop watching Transformers to try and figure out what the hell is going on, and I still don't know. So there we go.
Just to reiterate to our fans that are tuning in again, and hopefully to fans that maybe didn't like that, our opinions on it, I still genuinely love the Transformers animated movie from the 80s. I think it's just ridiculous and makes no sense when you're an adult watching it, but I ended up buying it on Blu-ray and it looks beautiful. But moving on from that, because today we are talking a guilty movie pleasure classic that I don't know how we haven't covered this before. Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard in Drive Angry. The premise of this movie is that Nick Cage escapes hell in a Dodge Challenger to save his grandbaby because his daughter's been murdered by a devil cult of Satanists. Mm-hmm. And there's an angel, the accountant from hell, played by William Fichtner, is chasing him down. And he brings Amber Heard along for the ride. She just kind of willy-nilly just joins him in this murder quest.
Sure does.
And it's nonstop ridiculous action and hilarious one-liners ever since. And the funny thing is, when I first saw it, I didn't even introduce myself.
I got so
excited.
I was gonna jump in and say,
I was like,
you were on such a roll.
Anyways, I got so excited about this movie. I'm your host, Ben Begley, and with me as always,
I'm Jesse McIntosh.
Yeah, we're here.
You were like, I'm gonna do the plot in under 45 minutes, and that's gonna be our show today.
I just got so excited about this movie.
Yeah, you did.
Because it's been a while. Because sometimes we've loved stuff or been lukewarm on things, but this movie, when I saw it, I cannot remember for the life of me if I saw it in theaters or not. But I remember my reaction to it was lukewarm at best. But I still bought it on Blu-ray back in the day when Blockbuster was closing. And this has been in and out of yard sale bins for years.
And no one's taken it?
Since then, no. And I've always taken it back and been like, you know what? I'm going to give it a second chance someday. Mm. And ooh boy, am I glad I did. Because I don't know what the hell was wrong with me the first time I saw it. Because watching it again, it's deadpan hilarious, and it knows exactly what it wants to be, and it's absurd. And it reminded me of like a grindhouse movie like Machete, but with a bigger budget and cooler action scenes. Granted, there are some really shitty CGI like green screen moments, but I had a blast with this movie. And William Fichtner steals the show for me as the accountant. Steals it. In fact, 90% of the sound clips are that. So I fucking love this movie, and for what it is, it's absurd. Now, Jesse, what do you think?
Well, I just want to follow up real quickly because you said, I don't know what the hell was wrong with me because I didn't like this movie. Are you implying that not liking this movie means that something is wrong with you?
No. I just know that my taste usually would love something like this. Yeah. So I don't know if I was in a shitty mood or what I was expecting. Maybe I thought it was going to be sillier and more like bonkers, and it plays it kind of deadpan comedic. Like, it's definitely... doesn't take itself seriously per se, but it plays it straighter than I think I was anticipating at first. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Like, I think I assumed, like, maybe I thought it was going to be more like a Ghost Rider movie.
Right.
Like, it was,
right. So you're saying
Demon from
just
Hell.
like relative to your own tastes, you're confused as to why you didn't like this movie off the bat.
Because normally this kind of stuff I just giggle at. And, like, Renee came down because I had my headphones on. I was laughing so loud that she said I was going to wake up Daisy. So she's like, you turned the volume off, but you're laughing too loud now. And I was like, well, sorry, honey, it's hilarious.
Well,
anyway.
why is she trying to control you?
Exactly.
Should we investigate that for a little bit? This movie is hilarious.
Right?
This is a very funny movie.
Right? For better or worse.
There are a lot of flaws in this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't just mean like flaw. Like, there are a lot of flaws that it didn't care about, and I don't necessarily care about those. The performances in this movie are all bad, except for the accountant, who is tremendous.
He's fantastic.
But everyone else is bad, like objectively bad. And it's
Amber Heard's trying.
Well, whether or not she's trying,
Nick Cage is phoning it in, but I kind of love it still.
They're both incredibly unsuccessful performances for me.
Yeah. Okay. What about Billy?
Billy Burke.
Billy Burke. We are gonna live forever. I wear the sharpest pentagram necklace that keeps getting me stabbed, but it's just my favorite piece of jewelry. I feel like he knew what movie he was living in.
Maybe so. Maybe everyone did, and they just collectively were like, I don't fucfucking care.
Yeah. I think the acting was intentionally like that.
It's possible, but it was since it was all there, and then like it was
because Fichtner's so good.
He's so good, and so that just like dumps everyone else down to the bottom because
when there's one shining star.
Was trying to do something and he did it successfully.
I would watch a movie called The Accountant, not with Ben Affleck, although I did watch that, but with William Fichtner playing this character
playing
again.
Ben Affleck's character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
But then reveal that he's actually from hell.
It turns out there are no accountants that just account. Like no one does that. It's just
my accountant that got me audited for 2 years in a row. Definitely, he seemed like he was an accountant from hell.
Sure.
Hey, tax season joke.
Gotcha.
Don't worry, the government will shut down again, and we won't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, it's gonna be the best. I think we'll still have to pay. They just won't pay.
I like when you make me laugh like the dog from Wacky Races. The villain dog.
I don't feel like I deserve any responsibility for that. Okay, so there were a lot of moments that, like you said, were played very seriously that I laughed very hard at.
What was your favorite moment? Throw you under the bus.
The part that I laughed the most at was when Nicolas Cage was having sex with that woman and shooting everybody.
She's still just
and the
either
ADR
the sex was so good that she didn't notice.
No, she did because she was traumatized after. But during it, they laid ADR over that was like, yeah, give it to me, and it's like, what is happening right now?
And the best is that like. Apparently his demon dick is incredible because he's doing nothing. When they show him first before the gunfight starts and he's just laying there like this, she's going to crazy and he's just smoking a big cigar. And the best is she goes, how come you don't take your clothes off? And he's like, I never disrobe before a gunfight.
Right.
And then it makes no sense.
It was so absurd.
Fantastic. That's the funniest scene in the whole movie.
It was probably like
hashtag demon dick.
1.5 minute gunfight. And then
all in slow motion as he's fucking her.
Never dismounted. He was like, we're gonna finish what we started, but I have to save my own life and your life now.
Did we watch Shoot 'Em Up? The Clive Owen one? There's a similar scene that's almost identical where he's having sex with Monica Bellucci and these guys bust in and he shoots up the place. And I think they still reach the end of the act as well. But this one to me may top that in just sheer absurdity.
Yeah. The amount and insertion of random nudity.
I like that you said insertion right after we talked about it.
Listen, it was very intentional. Of the only female nudity in this movie and the excessive nature of it.
Super excessive.
Was at this like same time demeaning and hilarious.
Yeah, like when Amber Heard throws out the girl, the woman that's sleeping with her fiance,
and then just beats her ass,
beats the shit out of her when she's naked. But I do like that they didn't, because Amber Heard got naked in a bunch of stuff before this, and I think finally she was probably like, I don't need to do that anymore because I'm getting in movies. I don't need to, because eventually actors kind of go, nah. Like Khaleesi in Game of Thrones is like, nope,
not me. I'm going the other way.
You're going the other way?
Once I get enough, I'm going to be like, I have to be naked in this movie. Yeah.
Full demon dick.
That's right.
But I like that her scene where you think it's going to be a sex scene, she's making the dude paint her nails.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Yes.
Because I'm like, yeah, good for you. You probably were like, fuck you, I'm not getting naked for this movie.
Right.
No way.
Like I would
how about when William Fichtner is in the nitrogen truck and gets out of it and walks on the roof of the cop car as it flips over.
This is
fantastic.
So I mentioned right before we started there were a couple of like troubling CGI moments. That was one of them.
That looks like it was made when I
for sure
in high school, but I loved it.
Yeah, that one was tough.
So good though.
But yeah.
Okay, so you enjoyed it.
So generally pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understood what was happening, which was a great change of pace.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to find the fan that requested this because I told myself I would remember. He requested it like 3 times.
I told myself I would remember.
Keep talking, Jesse. I have
Nicolas
dad brain.
Cage is I have a hard time with him because like he may have been the best person.
Torrin
to,
Strader.
Great.
Torrin, am I saying your name right? Torrin Strader. Thank you for requesting
Thank
this
you very
and,
much.
and harping at us in a good way. Being persistent because
Yes.
God bless you. I love this movie.
Yes. Nicolas Cage is might have been the best person to play this part, but he's such an abomination in this movie. It like made it that made it kind of hard for me to watch.
He went through a patch there where he kind of played things all like this for a while.
Yeah.
And if you watch Mandy, his new movie that came out last year, which was a revenge plot that's like a hallucinogenic dream or nightmare, I should say. He's fantastic in it, and he plays it very like he doesn't say a single word after his after something bad happens, and then he has to go kill the guys. But his performance is nutso in that, and you forget how good of an actor he is and how committed he can be. And in this one, he just felt like he was just chose like this one level to go, and I wanted more crazy Nick Cage. Like he can go crazy,
Right.
and there wasn't a moment of him being like the beast, man, the beast.
Right.
There wasn't like that, and this maybe that's why when I walked away from it the first time, I was like, why didn't we get nutso Nick Cage? But second time around, I still enjoyed it. I just wish there was some. I wish his cage was unlocked.
Sure.
Hey, it was terrible.
I don't know.
It was terrible.
Yeah, he was kind of muted, and a little bit melodramatic, and like I guess that was a choice for what was going on, but like there were also weird moments like in the diner, like the first diner scene,
Super
where
weird with the
it
girl
was
from Eastbound and Down.
really, really weird, and
Just to preface what we're talking about,
Yeah.
she comes up like and immediately is like, "When do you get off work?" Which is like,
is ready to have sex with him that moment.
I mean, and let's be honest. I mean, Nick Cage, handsome man, sure, but he has he has blonde hair that's scraggly and combed back,
right. So this was
and like a dirt beard.
yeah, and he's like giving off no positive vibes. So like he's not even got good energy, right?
Yeah, it's not like he's like flirting with her, gives her a wink. It's just
Yeah.
like they portray the other waitress as that much of a promiscuous waitress,
Right, that she will approach any disgusting old man who has not
Middle-aged
even
man.
looked at her. He's dead.
No
also.
vibes.
And is just like ready to do it. But like so that scene sets up the fact that we're just supposed to believe that he's this like unshakable stud. It's like
guess.
I don't like why are we supposed to believe that?
Because he
He's-
grabs her by the neck and pulls her in and makes out with her.
yeah.
And then asks if that's her car. And it's really because so then after that first scene, I was very nervous for Amber Heard joining up with him. I
Right.
was like, what is gonna please tell me they're not gonna have a romance.
Right.
I was like, don't make this a romance. And
Also,
they don't. Thankfully they
you
don't.
You say middle-aged, but he is a grandfather in this
is a
movie.
grandfather.
He is a grandfather,
grandpop.
and he seems
Pop.
like extremely, as he's described when he was alive, extremely antisocial. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the appeal of him is supposed to be in this movie. I guess
Nicolas fucking Cage,
I guess,
bro.
yeah, that he has.
He's got that demon dick.
He's on a mission. I guess
He's got
yeah.
that good demon dick.
That's right.
Anyways, let's get good demon dick. Let's get into the plot in under 3 minutes, and then we're gonna go scene by scene because I love this movie and I have 12 sound clips. I'm very excited. All right, let's do this. You ready in the booth, Steve?
Yes, sir. Here
do
we
it.
go. In 3, 2, 1.
All right, we
Go.
start off in an intro from the accountant as Nick Cage is barreling out of this amazing like hell prison, and he drives out. And then there's this action sequence where there's this truck full of these hillbilly like Satanists that are getting chased by Nick Cage. He wastes them all. He shoots one guy's leg in like half. He blasts the other dude, and he tells him, "Tell him I'm coming. Tell him I'm coming for the baby girl." He finds out that it's Stillwater, and so he starts heading for Stillwater. And then he goes to a diner, and that's where he makes out with the girl from Eastbound and Down,
Yep.
and then meets Amber Heard.
Yep.
And her car breaks down.
Well, she quits. She quits, and her
quits.
car breaks down, and he fixes her car by turning something. And then she like drops him off by where she lives. She
Convenient.
walks in on her fiance who's
In a
having
very
sex with
graphic
this
sex scene.
other woman. She fights the other woman. He then fights her, and Nicolas Cage comes back and rescues her. And now they're on the move to the
Stillwater.
prison.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because they find out Stillwater is a prison from the waitress that he strangled made out with.
Right.
Anyway, so then the dude that got her ex-boyfriend who got an air conditioner dropped on his head and just has like a Home Alone type bruise. The accountant comes, says, I'm looking for this person, blah, blah, blah. First, the accountant goes to the diner, finds out this way. He goes into the ex-boyfriend. He ends up killing him with 2 Louisville Slugger pieces. And then the cops show up. He flips a coin and it turns into an FBI badge. He gets the cops to follow him. Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard go to this bar called Grab the Bull by the Balls or something.
Something like that.
And they're going to sleep there the night. Nicolas Cage is getting his demon dick's getting fucked off by the waitress. Again,
Right.
lots of promiscuous waitresses.
Yeah.
Amber Heard is getting her nails done by a naked dude.
By a waitress.
By
a waiter. Sorry,
yeah,
waiter.
you're right. And then we realize that this cult is meeting here because they know that Nick Cage is back. One of the guys saw him. Saul Milton is Nick Cage's name.
Right.
Anyways, take it away, please.
Yeah, so then they come in, they try to shoot him up while he's having sex, but he kills everyone else.
In an amazing
Then
fashion.
the accountant comes in, and the accountant and the cult leader pass each other, and they're like, whatever, that's not why we're here. And then all the police officers get shot up, and then they're gone again. And
then they go to a church
Yep.
where they think it's a cult meeting, but then they all have guns, and
Yep.
they shoot Nicolas Cage in the eye, leave him for dead, take Amber Heard. He immediately wakes up, and he wastes everybody in the church, and then he goes after Amber Heard in the RV, and there's a big fight sequence and a big shootout and cars and stuff, and then she gets kicked out. She jumps out the back, lands on his hood. They reconvene. His car breaks down. They end up getting another car.
the trucker
Webster.
like gets him, and then he gives him
His
another
buddy
car,
Webster,
and
yeah.
they head to the prison, and there's like this big cult thing going on.
Yeah.
Or, no, I missed
William
when
Fichtner.
the accountant, yeah.
And the accountant. Okay, here
Go,
goes.
go, go,
There's a
go.
roadblock by the police. The accountant helps him. Then you realize that the accountant may be on Nick Cage's side. There's a big shootout. The cult leader gets shot with the God Killer, disappears from existence. Milton and the accountant drive back to hell.
Boom, the baby is saved.
Baby is saved. I forgot that.
Nice.
Oh my God! Just talking about it again made me realize how much I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's play the first clip. This is literally the intro to the movie where Nick Cage's Dodge Challenger is driving out of hell.
Since the birth of time, humanity has endeavored to restrain evil men in prisons. But since Cain fled the murder of his brother, evil men have fled the walls of punishment. So it doesn't matter if you're a badass motherfucker on the run because you think you're better than everyone else and somehow entitled to do what you gotta do. No. Because you see, badass motherfuckers are never fast enough.
So good. Badass motherfuckers are never fast enough.
You don't know that.
That could be a line from Hobbs in the Fast and Furious movie.
Sure could.
You know, he could be going up to Dominic Toretto, and be like, listen, badass motherfuckers, you badass motherfuckers are never fast enough.
But they are furious enough.
They are furious enough.
That's the
and
thing.
that's the key.
That's the thing. You got to be one or the other.
You can't be, and you got to be both.
You got to be both.
You can't be one or the other.
That's
You gotta be
what I
fast
meant.
and furious,
Fast
Jesse.
and furious.
Get your head in the game.
It's not right now.
It's not in the game.
It's out of the game.
It's out of it. So then,
That, by the way, sounded a lot like Kevin Spacey. And if you don't know who that is when you're watching the beginning of the movie, you very well could think,
Oh, man.
is that Kevin Spacey?
Oh, God.
Which is something that I thought.
Which is
and it puts a
problematic.
whole other
It does.
connotation on what he says.
It does.
Yes.
So then, this first shootout is amazing, where Nick Cage slams on his brakes, shoots out the guy's headlight. He cuts him off, shoots out their headlight, and then the guy T-bones Nick Cage's car, or Milton. We're gonna call him Milton because that's his name, which,
Sure.
by the way, is the least badass name for the most badass character. One of them.
I mean, he died a long time ago.
He did.
So it's,
Milton was
it's an
popular.
older name. Yeah.
The truck T-bones him, flips over, and crashes.
Mm-hmm.
He kneecaps a dude, then shoots him in the face. He shoots the other guy's hand off, which, by the way, if you didn't know this, viewers, this was in 3D when it was released in theaters. And I can't remember if I saw it in 3D or not. But you can tell when you're watching it how many things were meant to be in 3D.
Yeah.
And it looks, God, I want to see it in 3D again so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Hands flying off. And then there's a guy on the ground whose kneecap has been blasted to hell. And he says, tell him I'm coming home, good baby girl. And can we play clip number 2? This is his exchange with this gentleman.
She's dead and hell's gonna walk the motherfucking earth.
Hell already is walking the earth. You tell him I'm coming. Tell him I'm coming to get her back.
That's the best because there's such a dramatic pause, and you think he's gonna say something else, like
Yep.
tell him I'm coming. Tell him I'm coming to get her back, and
You know,
it's like, wait.
In his head, he's like, tell him I'm coming. And then he's like, I should have been more specific. I should have been, fuck. All right, tell him I'm coming to get her back.
Her back, all right?
I'm not coming for like coffee. Or
Hell's
anything like
already
that.
walking the earth.
This is so one of the things that they clearly didn't care about, but is a confusing part of this movie, is why this cult is like so spread out. Like what are these cult members doing in Colorado, and how did he know to
Laughter, Colorado? Is that a real
like,
place?
I don't know.
Is
But
Laughter, Colorado real? It's called Laughter, Colorado.
skepticism from the booth.
That's the best. You know what? I'd rather cue up your sound clip than worry about that. So
Yeah, well, because they're like so far away. They're going to Louisiana, right? Which
Yeah.
is like, what? Why is this cult so spread out?
I guess because they killed his daughter nearer to Colorado.
But that was how long
seems
ago?
like long enough ago that he doesn't know what cell phones are.
Right.
I'm so confused.
Right.
You know,
this
that's-
is
it's
an
fine.
extremely confusing detail that the bad guys are just like.
You know what's the most confusing
Everywhere.
thing about the cult? That dude with the silly wig in the church scene.
Yeah, what was that?
There's a guy. I'll just have to tweet out a photo of him because there's a dude that looks like he has a perm wig.
It's so.
It looks like a Golden Girls wig.
It's so striking and so weird.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. Anyway, so this is Amber Heard's intro, which at first may seem problematic, but then she ends up just whooping ass the whole movie.
Sure.
So, you know, they're just let's play it and see what we think.
I'm saying he's gotta marry me. I cut him off. You cut him off? Not just yes, but hell yes. No tits, no ass. And I told him, if I see that big old dick anywhere near my face again, I'm gonna bite it in half. Yeah, sure did.
I mean, what kind of relationship do they have where she could cut him off and like he just swings it in her face?
I mean,
then you meet the guy.
We found out pretty quickly what kind of relationship they
He
have.
seems like the kind of guy that like she'd wake up in the morning and he'd have a hot cup of coffee and a dick swinging in her face.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So he was not a gentleman.
Listen, it's no demon dick though. It is pure human dick.
It's just. So that's her intro, and at first you're like, "Ooh, I don't know what they're gonna do with this character with the way they're starting it off." But then the owner of the restaurant is like so demeaning and weird and like trying to hump up on her.
Yeah.
And she slaps him and quits, and it's no, she shoves all her tips. Which
In his
dollar
mouth.
bills are disgusting.
Yeah.
Dollar bills have fecal matter and cocaine on them.
I wipe my ass with dollar bills.
I mean, yeah. It's because you ballin', yo.
That's right. That's right.
She shoves all these dollar bills in his mouth and quits, and you're like, fuck yeah, who knew that Piper from Drive Angry was going to be such a badass?
Right.
You know? And then the rest of the movie, she's whooping ass.
This is not to like
Yeah.
take us on a slight off ramp. See what I did?
Oh, I like that.
But again, like if we listen to clip 3, can we just hear like a really small bit of it? Clip 3. Clip 3. Just a small bit of it.
I'm saying he's gotta marry me. I cut him off. You cut him off?
Okay.
Not just
There it sounds like this is like small town Texas, right?
And they're
The
in
way
Colorado,
they're talking,
right?
they're in Colorado. Like what are these accents that they're talking with?
Yeah, they don't have southern accents in Colorado. No.
No.
It's not like, hey, man, you won't come to a state where we got free weed?
No.
It's not free weed. It's legal.
Right,
In Denver.
right. Yeah.
It'd be crazy if it was free.
That would be
You
a
just show up to
bad,
Denver and they're like, free
bad
weed.
business decision by
We
the
can't make any money, but it's free.
state of Colorado. Yeah, it's very weird. And it seems like Amber Heard was just like, I'm going to do some acting. And then everyone else in the diner was like, I guess we should we all do this? I
Well,
don't
the
know.
girl from Eastbound and Down, who's hilarious in Eastbound and Down and fantastic, and I wish I knew her name, she, I think, has that natively. Like, that's her accent.
Okay.
Maybe they just all just settled on Southern.
I guess we're going to do Southern.
Yeah.
We're Southern. We're all headed south.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do Southern?
You know, just like the cult members are spread out. Southerners spread out.
You know what? This is a different world than
It is.
living
Matthew
in right now.
McConaughey plays Southern and everything.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
Matthew McConaughey, man.
That's really
He's
good.
fantastic, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
I forgot that Amber Heard also grabs her boss by the balls
By the-
before shoving the dollars in his mouth.
And then so this was one of my favorite parts is when her car breaks down and
comes out of the woods.
Nick Cage walks out of the woods. Just like
She's totally fine with it.
yeah, she's like, oh, strange man coming out of the woods. Interesting.
Especially the way he looks.
Yeah.
He looks like a murderer.
But again, he is so desirable
Apparently.
that everyone is like, please, if you're not gonna have sex with me, just like be in my life for a little bit.
Exactly.
And her car's like smoking,
Yeah.
and he's like, I can fix it, and she's like, all right, and he just like
You know why?
turns something,
because he did it, I think.
and it's fine.
I think he disabled it. So
But
that-
what did he turn?
I don't know.
What can you turn a quarter rotation?
I know nothing
And
about
all of a
cars.
sudden the car is smoking.
I don't know anything about
I don't know
cars
either. It
You know
was-
what? Audience, tell us what you can turn.
Please, I'm not being a dick. I want to know. I
And
seriously
he's definitely
wanna
not
know.
being a demon dick.
I really want to know.
So now we have the accountant's intro. William Fichtner shows up, and he talks to the diner owner and calls him fat fuck. And one of my favorite parts, he's like, "What'd you call me?" He's like, "Would you rather I call you dead fat fuck?" It's just so awesome how he does this staccato thing there.
Yes.
But this is his line introducing himself as the accountant.
Who are you?
I'm the accountant.
It's supposed to mean something to me?
It will if I add you to the books.
So good, so good. And there's so many of those moments where like later on he's like, you know, the one pothead gets hit by the door and he's like, oh man, you could have killed me. He's like, I won't see you until you're 73. You I'll see in 3 months. And the kid's like, what does that mean, man?
Yeah.
I love when they do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted's
Bill and
Bogus
Ted.
Journey.
Yeah.
So then Fichtner's on the trail. I just said Nick Cage's blonde hair is so ridiculous and distracting, but I love it, which sums up most of his performance. We talked about how she comes home, finds her almost fiance / boyfriend, full on.
Oh, he's her fiance. We established.
He sees her, and the other girl just keeps going. And he's like, okay, I don't know what to do about this.
Pretty goofy.
She yanks this girl off and just beats the shit out of her, Piper, aka
Yep.
Amber Heard. It's fantastic. Then he's like you said, he starts she holds her own with the guy for a while. Then he starts kicking her on the ground, and that's when Nick Cage comes in and kicks him a few times, and then the air conditioner falls.
Let's
on his
also
head.
not forget the dude walking by, just like snapping pictures
Creeper.
of the naked girl.
But what's awesome is that Amber Heard's character knocks the phone out of his hand too, and is like,
When he's stuck around for like 10 minutes, because he's taking pictures, she goes back inside to like, I guess, get her stuff or whatever.
"Who does that?"
And then she comes back out, and the girl's like now sitting
And he's
against the
just
house, and he's
snapping
just
pho-
standing in front of her like paparazzi.
What a
saying-
weirdo!
Yeah.
What a weird. I wonder what that guy has done since then.
I don't know. Just looked at those photos, probably.
So then we find out through some flashbacks that Billy Burke, the cult leader, Jonah King is his name, he made Nick Cage's daughter blow him, and then she apparently it's insinuated pretty heavily that she bit it off.
Yes.
And then he slits her throat, and then this super creepy moment where he's like drinking the blood off of his fingers and
Yeah.
his nails. Like usually like cokeheads have like a pinky nail that's long. All of his are long.
He's
Got witch nails.
10 options for doing coke.
It's like a Benny Hill. I don't know why Benny Hill does. I mean, he runs fast.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's why it was so sped up.
There it is.
No one listening knows who Benny Hill is.
Look it up.
So,
And also look up the car thing.
then they go and what's the all three were gone. So William Fichtner then the accountant shows up to the ex-boyfriend and he's grilling him for answers, and this is clip number 5.
Where did he go?
Fuck should I know? I woke up and all three were gone.
All three.
The bitch, the some bitch, and my car.
The bitch, the some bitch, and my car. So good. So good. And then the guy like gets shitty with the accountant, so he knocks him against the wall and cracks the plaster. Then the dude comes at him with a bat. He swiftly dodges it, breaks it in half, throws it. 3D effect there would have been great.
Yep.
Stabs the guy through the arm. Then he taps on it a few times, and then the dude's getting shitty again. So he throws the other half of the Louisville Slugger, and it pins him in the eyeball to the wall.
Which we don't see. We see him
No.
throw the bat, and then when the cops
It's
come
POV
in, we
to the
see-
camera,
yeah.
another 3D effect.
Yeah.
The cops come in and are like, oh shit.
Yes.
And then he does this amazing thing where he flips a coin. This is your lucky day, gentlemen. Flips a coin, and it becomes an FBI badge, which makes me wonder if he has some kind of... I assume it's like a hypnosis where they didn't see him flip the coin, because otherwise, why would they be like, how did that coin... I think it's...
Couple questions about
Yeah.
the accountant.
Please.
That is one of them. The second one is if he is so powerful, which he seems to be, why does he have to walk everywhere?
I
And
think
he doesn't just know where the dude is.
I think, like we find out later on, he enjoys the chase, and I think once he starts hearing more about this Jonah King guy, that we find out later is that he wants Nick Cage to take care of him.
Right. Once he found out what Nick Cage was doing, he
I think in the beginning he's just being that dude walking.
He's just walking.
He's like Michael Myers. He knows he's gonna catch you.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to run.
All right.
Later on, he gets in a nitrogen truck and a cop car.
Yeah, he does get in a couple cars at certain points.
Yeah.
But he like asks
He's
for
like
a
the
ride.
T-1000, but not running,
Sure.
and doesn't change form.
Right.
But
So
can change coins into FBI badges.
that's his main power, it seems.
It's a good power.
Yeah,
It's a
he
good
does
power.
it more than once.
Yeah.
So
Then we go to the hotel. We already talked at length about Demon Dick. We can move on from that.
I'm concerned about this establishment that so many servers can just leave their shift to
Right?
go fuck for
Well, I
like
guess it closed because, as we find out, because Amber Heard is having naked dude paint her nails, and she hears something and sees the creepy guy from the bar. She goes in the bar, it's empty, and then all the cult members show up.
it is empty except their 2 beers are still on the table that they were sitting at.
It's because the server went off, the waitress went off to fuck some
And
demon
everyone
dick.
else was like, that's not my fucking problem. That's
Accountability. That's not their section.
Marie's table.
Yeah.
She needs to come back.
Marie needs to bust her fucking
I
table.
know she's on that demon dick right now. I'm not
I wonder
doing
if we're
her
gonna
work
get a
for her.
comment of somebody being like, "Stop saying demon dick." You just mad because you don't got a demon dick.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
We said it a lot. So this shootout with Milton as he's banging the waitress is incredible because it's all slow motion. He shoots a guy in the chest, which makes him fling. So let me try and illustrate this. I'm a dude. Here's Milton. Here's dude. Shoots him in the chest. And instead of this way, which would by physics make sense, chest, legs go this way, and he slams through the window.
Shout out to the podcast listeners.
What's that?
Yeah, you're.
Oh yeah. Hey, podcast listeners, look at this diagram that you can't see. But no, it's hilarious how he gets shot in the chest, but his legs flip backwards and he flies out on his stomach.
Yes.
Incredible. But my favorite moment of it is the dude that comes in with the machete and he shoots the machete blade and the dull end of the machete goes into the guy's skull.
Yeah.
That is a forceful bullet.
It is. He knows what he's doing.
He does.
He
does.
From what I learned from this movie is once you die, you can come back and have like all the powers of the Matrix.
Webster hints though that he was basically a killer of some sort or did dirty things back in the day. But yeah, yeah. I mean, he's supernatural now.
Right. Yes.
Which I like that they don't tell you till later on that he can't die from anything,
yeah.
basically, because then that would have taken out any stakes if from the beginning we were like, this guy's immortal, who cares?
Right.
But you kind of find out later you can't kill a dead man because they hint at it, like when. Anyways, we'll get to that. So, oh my God, there's so much stuff.
I like that the hillbillies like come in one at a time.
Yeah.
And are just getting like picked off one at a time.
Yeah.
No one was like, let's
All at
one of
once.
us go through the window, one of us go through the door.
Maybe they saw Elektra where all the ninjas raid and she has a bomb set up and it blows them all up.
I always wonder which movies exist in movie universes, right? Yeah, like what
It
do
feels
they
like
watch for
only
fun?
John Hughes movies
Yeah.
exist in movie
Yeah.
universes.
That's true.
That's it.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club, basically. The best is the dude that comes in. He shoots him in the foot. The guy falls and he chugs a bunch of whiskey before shooting him in the face.
Yeah.
It's so good. He's that big of a badass. He's like, not only do I have enough time to keep banging this girl, but I'm gonna take a sip of whiskey and then kill you
Yes.
because Milton is that big of a badass. He's no Milton from Office Space with his red stapler.
No, it's a different Milton.
Different
for
Milton.
those of you.
Although
for
Milton
all
in
the
Office
podcast
Space did
listeners.
burn down the building.
Sure.
So
It
is my stapler. Then the cops show up and they've been ordered by the accountant to shoot to kill, and Piper kills one of them, which. If we had later on, they show that one of the cops was a Satanist.
Sure.
We really needed to see that these two cops had that tattoo on them because that's something that even though this movie's grindhouse and silly, that's a hurdle I couldn't
That
leap
one
over.
was really tough.
Where I'm like, these are just two innocent cops. Because even the accountant operates by certain rules where like he doesn't kill people. So that's just a tiny detail they could have added in, like, oh, rip it open and they're when Tom Atkins comes in as the captain and be like, what the hell does this symbol mean? And then it ties in later instead of being like, we killed two cops. Moving on.
Right. Right. And also
Troubling.
like it's troubling for the viewer, it's troubling for the situation, but it's also troubling like to understand what's going on with her, cuz she just like had a bad situation at home and is tagging along with this stranger and is all of a sudden murdering police officers for him.
Well,
like,
he was going to kill her if she didn't, but still,
Well, maybe. But the police show up and she could very easily just be like, hey, I don't really know him. You know what I mean? Like she could just go to the police and be like, look, I'm just trying to escape the abuser that I was living with.
Which also begs the question, why did the accountant say shoot to kill if he's enjoying the chase and knows that Milton can't be killed?
Right. So some problems, a lot of them culminating right here in this
section.
moment.
Yeah, and then after that, it's fine.
Yeah.
For the most part. It's this moment with these two cops where they should have been...
It's a pretty big inflection point, and they just like rushed a bunch of stuff to get us through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, we find out more backstory about how he's trying to save his grandbaby and that they're going to sacrifice his grandbaby on the full moon. Then the accountant shows up in the cop car, and there's this awesome bridge chase sequence where he gets next to him and he does like the Grey Poupon thing, like roll down the window.
Yeah.
And that's when Nick Cage brings out the God Killer, and William Fichtner immediately freaks out. And it grazes him, and you can see that whatever this is, it wounds a demon,
right?
You know? And that's when he crashes and flips over the bridge and lands down below, and then they drive off. And for now, the chase has stalled for a minute.
Hey. The only thing that I wish that this movie had in it, that it didn't, just to add to the story and give us a little bit of context, is he has this God Killer and he escaped hell, and all he says about it is, I just grabbed it and I walked out. And I would have loved in the beginning, rather than just seeing him driving, to have seen what he did to get out.
I think budgetarily, maybe budget-wise.
Sure, but it's such a big thing and such like an interesting idea, just to like have it be a throwaway
Let's
thing.
do a prequel to this where it's all about the heist of the God Killer. And I'm not joking. I would watch that.
Starring Ben Affleck.
Perfect. So, in fact, when I saw The Accountant, I thought it was a remake of this, bro. Like a sequel spinoff. So then this is where they go to the church. There's all these creepy people praying, and then you realize they're all strapped. And they pull out their guns, and this is when Jonah King comes and talks to Piper and is super creepy. Clip number 6.
My child, it'd be but easy for me to shoot you in the throat, watch you gurgle while I eat my morning grapefruit. But I don't think so, Piper. You interest me.
The best part about that is that clip would have been just like a nothing line.
Right.
But the fact that he adds the detail of shoot you and watch you gurgle while I eat my morning grapefruit is so fantastic.
It's great.
It's fantastic. It's lines like that make me go, that's specific and hilarious.
Yes.
And I don't like grapefruit, but I think it's funny.
I went through a like very, very brief phase where I drank, it was probably like over the course of a week, where I drank a bunch of grapefruit juice. And nothing happened to me, but I just like lost the taste for it.
I'd never had the taste for it.
Yeah.
There's another creepy detail we learn about Jonah King, which is that the cane that he's holding is half wood cane, and the other half is Milton's daughter's femur bone that he likes to keep with him. And he beats the hell out of Milton with it.
Right.
And again, for a Grindhouse movie, great detail, but super dark.
And also, like, why?
Because he's a sadistic Satanist.
I understand, but like, has he not killed? Is she the only person he's ever killed? Why is she so important to him?
I think there's got.
Because Milton died before this ever happened.
There's another thing that they never really established why sacrificing this grandbaby makes them live forever.
Right.
They never explain the Satanist cult.
I sort of, whatever, it's a cult, like they believe what they believe, but like, it's so strange to me that like, she was, I don't know, I guess they had a significant relationship before she left the cult, but
I think because she bit his dick off.
So he kept her femur bone?
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'll show you.
Yeah.
They call him Dickless the rest of the movie, too.
I guess.
They keep saying that, and that really rubs him the wrong way.
But femur, like, it's just weird. Why?
Because nobody's going to rub him the right way anymore, am I right?
Hey, there's no right way.
Because he has no...
I understand.
So...
He's got what would you say, a ghost dick?
A ghost dick.
Yeah.
Next movie, Ghost Dick versus Demon Dick. So there's another car chase in this industrial warehouse because they're chasing. Milton's in hot pursuit. Amber Heard gets taken in the RV. There's this awesome car chase in the warehouse where he swerves around, and you think he's just going to shoot the guy, and the guy like comes to a stop, but the car falls into this industrial like pit or something right in front of Nick Cage, and it's a fantastic shot. It's badass. It was one of my favorites. There's this shootout. Amber Heard is fighting Billy Burke, aka Jonah King. They're fighting, and she's whooping his ass. And then he gets a gun and is going to shoot her, and she jumps out and gets on the hood of Nick Cage's car. We got to speed up a little bit because we had 8 minutes. Holy crap! She gets free by stabbing him with this sharp, pointy pentagram necklace again.
Yep.
You think if you've gotten stabbed twice by 2 of your kidnap victims, maybe get something a little less pointy.
Just rounded.
Just round out it, or plastic.
Put a little wax on the point or something like that.
Yeah, like they do for swords when you buy them, when you buy prop swords.
Just protect yourself.
So then there's William Fichtner goes to the church, and that's when hilarious bad wig guy. This is him and hilarious bad wig guy, and specifically listen to how he describes the wound at the end of this clip.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's a symbol of our pact with Lord Satan.
Pact, huh? Oh. Funny, he's never mentioned you. Whoa, those are fucked. Here, have some more.
It's so good. He just looks down at this guy's like gaping flesh and like a bone sticking out.
Yeah.
Whoa, those are fucked. It's so good. It's so good.
That's not what you want to hear when you're nursing an injury.
So there's this little, the pace never stops. And there's a tiny breath where we meet Webster, David Morse, and he explains a little bit about Nick Cage's backstory and how they used to do some bad things, then he got killed and blah, blah, blah. And then David Morse Webster comes out to offer him a beer. And it also is a way for him to get a new car for the end. But this, as soon as he said this, I was like, please tell me he does this at the end of the movie.
Thank you, Webster. I don't believe I'll be having that beer just now. Not unless I'm drinking it from Jonah King's skull.
As soon as I heard that, I couldn't remember if he did or not from seeing it the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, please let that happen.
Well,
and just wait.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird.
It does.
It's kind of weird because he the rest of Jonah Hill disappears.
Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill, yeah.
Jonah King?
No, Jonah Hill. The rest of Jonah Hill, Jonah King.
Okay.
The rest of Jonah King disappears except for the top half of his skull, which is clean.
It's fantastic.
It's just like the bone.
Fantastic.
No blood.
So then they ship off to kick some ass. The accountant shows up. There's a Jonah King calls the cops, so they're chasing after him. They set up a roadblock. The accountant shows up whistling in a hydrogen truck, and that's that problematic CGI shot that I thought was hilarious, where he gets it to drift on its side, walks out onto the cop car, and it flips. It rolls over the 2 cop cars that are... So basically, Milton drives here, and it rolls over and just misses him, and then blows up, and Milton's able to get free.
Yep.
And then the captain is yelling at him, and... Not only have they witnessed this crazy thing where a dude just walked out of a truck that blew up on top of a moving car, but he does the FBI thing again. And the captain, a.k.a. Tom Atkins, a.k.a. Stud McGee from Halloween 3.
Yeah.
Because he just... again, another person where we're like, why is he so studly? But I guess the movie's telling us he is.
I guess.
He also has a great line in Night of the Creeps where he shows up and he's the captain in that too. And they're like, you want to hear what we found, Chief, or whatever? And he's like, thrill me. And I've always loved that. Anyways, side note. So this is how he reacts to the FBI badge.
No goddamn way. No ever-loving way in God's good heaven are you an FBI agent.
You know what's funny? I heard that, BuzzFeed leaked a recording of Roger Stone's arrest from the FBI, and it's not been verified if it's him yet. But supposedly in the morning when they broke in, and CNN decided to delete this from the actual arrest video, but this was apparently how Roger Stone reacted.
No goddamn way. No ever-loving way in God's good heaven are you an FBI agent.
And they were like, no, we are. And there's 19 of us.
Right.
So you're coming with us.
Hop on my back. I don't know. That's what I imagine FBI does.
Piggyback rides?
Yeah.
So then they're all at this cult play. The baby's in the basket getting ready to be sacrificed. They're all weirdly dancing, and they're basically dancing to no music and firing off guns.
And once again,
in an abandoned prison.
The women are naked and the men are fully clothed.
There's one naked dude.
Is there?
There's one naked dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they had to come to this prison, but apparently there's some reason.
Don't know.
Because it seems like at the full moon they could have just sacrificed the baby anywhere. But apparently Stillwater Prison held meaning. So then there's then they show up. Nick Cage is there, and the accountant takes Amber Heard hostage. And this is where they have this exchange, and you realize that the accountant's actually on his side because either way, Nick Cage kills these guys and he takes them back to hell.
Yeah,
he wins.
the accountant is on the side of him. Of this ending, he's not necessarily on the side of Nick Cage, but he's on the side of like
they're kind of fun, but you know they like to one up. It's like a cat and mouse thing for them. It's fun.
Yeah.
So can we play clip number 10?
I have got to know. How did you get out with the God Killer?
I just walked in and took it.
Oh, wouldn't want to be you when he finds out.
What's he gonna do? Not let me back in?
Not let me back in. It's the best.
I feel like there's other things that he could do,
Probably,
right? Yeah,
probably. I think there's worse things.
I think he understands punishment more than anyone else.
At this point, he doesn't care. He just wants his baby girl. Just grandbaby girl. Grandbaby girl. So then there's this awesome big-ass shootout where he comes launching over their pentagram that's this like effigy that they're burning.
Yeah.
And he just is spinning around, blasting people and running over people, smashing them, all kinds of crazy shit. These two Satanists come up to the accountant and are trying to kill him, and they're like, what are you, and the accountant's like, what are you even doing this for? And we'll play clip number 11.
We're gonna kill your friend and the baby, and we're gonna live forever.
Forever. If forever to you is the next 5 seconds, then you would be right.
And then he throws a coin, and it kills the one dude and then stabs in his head, which it doesn't seem to go that deep into his skull. I don't know how it like killed his brain.
I don't know. Well, it lost momentum going through the other guy.
It did.
I guess. I will
Maybe he
also
was just
say,
stunned because he was like, I've never been attacked by a flying quarter before.
That's possible.
He just played possum.
I've never been hit by an FBI badge so squarely in the face. When Jonah Hill is about to kill the baby, and they hear the car revving, and he stops. Killing this baby, he believes, will make him live forever.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he's like, let me see what the commotion is.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Just kill the baby.
And then he just saunters about, reloading his gun. And then he hands it to the one cult member who is the most on the fence about killing the baby.
Yeah.
It's amazing. There's a bunch of shootouts. There's Piper shows up shooting henchmen. She shoots the henchman with the God Killer, and he ceases to be.
Right.
There's one bullet left. And there's blah, 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 explosions, all kinds of shit. We only have a minute left. Just watch the third act. It's insane. Nick Cage is laying on the ground. Billy Burke, Jonah King shows up, and he's going to shoot Nick Cage in the head, and instead he has the God Killer. He shoots Jonah King. But right before that, this is Jonah's reaction to all of his plans just being destroyed.
Well, this is all going to shit.
It's great. He's so nonchalant.
Yeah.
And he gets shot with the God Killer. His body goes into this like white light, and he just disintegrates except for the top of his skull.
Except for the top of his skull.
Then Nick Cage acts like he dies. Amber Heard takes the baby and is now going to raise the baby, and he knows that she can protect her because she's a badass.
And David Morse shows up.
Yep. Maybe
don't know why.
She called him.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've got to wrap up. So then he wakes up. He's having a beer out of Jonah King's skull, and him and William Fichtner are buddies now. And they drive off to hell. And he basically throws down the challenge of like, I'm going to escape again. And I really want to Drive Angry 2 now, just with these two, like a buddy action movie with them in it, where they have to chase somebody worse. They have to chase Jonah King because he escaped hell.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah,
I just did it for you, Hollywood.
And the top of his skull is gone.
And, he's blighted out of existence because of the God Killer. He can't escape anywhere. He's gone.
But what they should do is the top of his skull is gone, but he has that weird wig on.
He's gone. He doesn't exist anymore.
But they should come up with something that brings him back.
Let's talk about this.
They should come. No, I don't care. Go ahead.
That's all the time we have for today. Until next time, Jesse, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Too Much Jesse, and for sketch at The Prom Losers.
What if just for the next 3 minutes we argued about the wig? Anyways, you can find me at the Ben Begley on Twitter and Instagram. And like I've said before, Funhouse Massacre is on show. No, it's on Amazon Prime now. Our movie Funhouse Massacre that my wife and I wrote. So check it out if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, just ignore this shameless plug.
No, see it again.
And we'll be back next week. Until next time, what is your guilty movie pleasure?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, We would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.